the author of Brain Power Game Plan, Dr. Cynthia Green. Welcome.
Hi, ladies. Thanks for having me.
So why is it that sometimes I will walk into a room and totally forget why?
Hold on.
What?
The other night,
Yeah.
I got out of bed, I went upstairs, and for 24 hours, I still couldn't figure out why I'd gone
It's
upstairs.
like the worst feeling.
Were you awake when you got out of bed?
Yeah, no, I was getting ready for bed, and
Yeah.
I lotion up my hands and feet, and then I don't want to get out because I'm all greasy, and I got up, and I went upstairs, and I stood there, and I'm like, you're kidding, right?
Right. Yeah. So mostly it's because we're distracted, right? We're going to the other room to get the scissors or a stamp, and we are thinking about a million other things along the way. So we lose our focus, we lose a concentration. And you know what? That happens to us at every age, right?
You know what I started doing now? So I'm in the kitchen, and I need a whisk, so I stand there like this.
Yes.
Like, so I
time
don't
yourself.
forget.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so you stay focused. And that's something that can help us, right, exactly. And that's one of the things I
Nice.
say to people to do is when you're walking into the other room, just repeat to yourself why you're going.
I do that. I will walk through my house, and then I'll also sometimes text myself. I'll take my cell phone, my BlackBerry, and I will type what I have to do.
And people think they laugh, right? We all think that's really funny, but the truth is that's just a mnemonic strategy. It's like writing yourself a note, right? When you were in school and you took notes, did you think that that was silly?
Yeah, I didn't take the notes.
Oh,
Well, but you do much
that
better
does
if
help.
you've written it down, correct?
Right.
So just the act of writing it makes you remember.
Exactly. So we think about different kinds of strategies for helping us memorize things.
Okay.
There are things we need to remember to function day to day, right? We need to know, you know, an address, or we need to remember a phone number.
Not
Some of
anymore.
it we can write down. We just put
We
it on
don't
our
know
BlackBerry.
Yeah. Now, I was going to ask you quickly, does typing do the same thing as writing, or it's not as good?
I
for
don't
your
know that
memory?
anyone's really looked at that.
Okay.
Part of what happens is
And I'm
that
typing
the
with my
act,
thumbs.
right, it's the act
Of
of
course.
concentrating on the information. But you know, one of the things that can happen, and people complain about this all the time, is they say, when I was younger, I could remember a ton of phone
Right,
numbers.
that was me.
And I
But that's
can't
'cause
remember
you
them
had
now.
to, right?
It's
I still
because
remember my
we
first
use
phone.
them. Right, because you dialed it all the time.
Right.
And now we have everything on speed dial. We don't use that information. That's the impact of rehearsal. But there are so many things about brain health that are really fascinating. And when people say to me, what can I do to improve my memory? How can I keep myself from losing my memory?
Yeah.
You really need to look at brain health and memory within the context of your overall health and well-being.
Okay.
So there's things that you know already, things about diet and exercise that we...
What about those things?
Well, first of all, one of the best things scientifically for your brain is aerobic activity.
Oh, good.
If
Okay.
you look at all the data and you ask the scientists to recommend one thing, we'll all tell you to go out and move.
Okay.
It's good for your heart, it's good for your brain.
Okay.
And so if you know about those things, which we all do, that keep our heart healthy, those are the things we need to do for our brain as well. And aerobic activity improves our everyday performance, so how well we remember things like names or why we went into the other room. It also reduces our risk for dementia over our lifetime.
Okay.
So hands down, one of the best things. Diet, again, if it's good for your heart, it's good for your brain. The fascinating thing about diet is a couple of studies have come out also showing that it's not necessarily so much what we eat, but how much we weigh and where we carry our body fat that matters to memory. So those are just good common
And so
sense things
what
that
do
we
you,
know.
What do you hear about that? Where's the best weight carried for good minds? Clearly, I don't have it.
Actually, it's funny because one of the things we talk about is your brain actually needs to be plump. One of the things we want is
your
have
brain
good
needs to
brain
keep the
volume,
fat, right?
Yeah.
You need a
But
fat
actually,
head,
those
yeah.
studies found that people who carried a lot of weight around their middle, who had belly fat, had an increased risk for dementia later in life. Hey, there's plenty of time, you know? We have our whole lifetimes to work on it. But mostly what people think about when they think about brain health are things like crossword puzzles or...
I heard that's really not great. It doesn't help. Because it's a different kind of, it's more of a trick or
Right.
you already know the answer.
Well,
so it's not thinking.
Here,
it's just remembering.
There's three things you need to talk about or think about doing for brain health when it comes to your mind.
Okay.
One is strategies, which we kind of talked about. So things like taking notes or using a technique for memorizing a name. And there's a lot of simple strategies we use and can learn.
But that doesn't improve your memory. That just helps you remember things.
Yes,
Isn't that different?
But what it does is it helps you memorize information that you have to remember it by making it more memorable.
Okay.
It also improves your attention for the information.
Okay.
So if I said to you, Alexis, use a strategy where you connect to a name. So if you want to remember the name Tina, right, you connect to a Tina that you know, maybe Tina Turner. That's going to help you remember that
Little
information.
tricks.
That's something you want to remember. But you're right in that it doesn't improve what we call everyday performance. What you need to do for everyday performance is exercise the skills that change as we grow older.
Now, you have some games for us, right? To do just that?
And those games do that.
Okay, so
you
tell
wanna
us.
play some of those games?
Sudoku?
Sudoku is kind of like the crossword puzzle.
It's
great for intellectual engagement. It keeps your mind busy and thinking in a different way,
I
which
thought
is
that
what some of
that
those
was-
games are.
Right. I thought that was the thing. I met an older man who was still very, very sharp, and
And he always did Sudoku?
He would do things he didn't like, that he wasn't used to. He would read a romance novel, even though he didn't want to, because he said it exercised his brain.
So it's working on those skills, which are games we play against the clock, which is a little bit about what we'll be doing today, but not really so much. Staying intellectually engaged. You don't have to do things you hate. Really, you can do things that you like. But there's, for all of us, something we would like to do that we've never tried.
Okay.
And the final is the strategies.
Okay, so show us a game.
So the first game we're going to talk about is one from the book. It's called juggling. Now, have either of you ever juggled?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Here.
But these aren't balls to juggle.
No, they're scarves because they're a little bit easier to first learn. You look
I
terrified.
love to juggle.
We've already done this. It's hard.
No,
I mean,
it's not.
it's
But do
hard.
I have to sit? Can I do it sitting?
Let's see. So,
Well, they're
but what's
not-
interesting
Do you ball
about this,
them up?
you can do it any way you want. That's amazing.
No,
Great.
but I need balls. I mean, I don't.
3 balls or just 2?
2 is enough.
So there was a study actually in Germany showing that both in a group of older adults and younger adults who juggled and became proficient about it, that they improved the white matter volume in their brain.
Oh, I'm going to do this.
Okay, it was a
But
small
it's
study, but
learning
it's
any new skill, though.
Exactly.
Yes? I mean,
But
it
the
doesn't
great-
have to be juggling.
Exactly. It doesn't. But this one, you have to pay
Like, not
attention. You
hard.
have to think quickly, right?
Okay.
So it's also working out those skills that you need day to day in terms of intellectual performance.
And if you need a veil at any point in time,
It's perfect.
you're good to go. All right, we are out of time. But thank you so
It
much.
was an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.